It is often asked, how is a task different than a topic? Well, to understand the difference, it's essential to first truly understand what a task is. The TP 350/7014 defines a task with the following characteristics: a clearly defined and measurable activity accomplished by individuals and organizations. It is the lowest behavioral level in a job or unit performed for its own sake. It must be specific. Usually has a definite beginning and ending. It has only one act. Generally, it is performed in a relatively short time, however, there may be no time limit. It must be observable and measurable. There's a tool to help define a task. It is called scope. Scope stands for S. Single unit of work. C. Clearly defined. O. Observable and measurable. P. Performed for its own sake. E. Ending and beginning that are definite. Let's cover each in more detail. For this explanation, we are going to use the fictional company, Peak Brewing Coffee. We'll call it PBC for short. Let's consider the PBC job, barista. In this job, let's take the following act you must perform: make espresso shot. Just in case you're not a coffee connoisseur, an espresso shot is a concentrated, full-flavored coffee served in shots. It is made by forcing pressurized hot water through finely ground coffee beans using an espresso machine. Not only can it be served alone, it is the core ingredient for many coffee drinks. Now let's run this act through the scope tool and see if it qualifies as a task. Single unit of work. As it sounds, is the act a complete single unit of work? That is, do the steps add up to a final act? Make espresso shot is a single unit of work consisting of many steps. Clearly defined. For this requirement, you must ask, is the act specific and understandable? i.e., it's not ambiguous. Make espresso shot is a very clear and understandable act. If you entered the term in a web search engine, you would get an abundance of results that agree upon the definition. Observable and measurable. At a minimum, the act must be observable. Make espresso shot easily meets this criteria. In addition, consider you can hear, touch, feel, smell, and taste. It is very tangible. Can it be quantified? Will it hold up to a standard? For example, are there steps to follow? Should those steps be in a specific order? Does it have to be executed within a certain time frame? Make espresso shot does, in fact, have specific steps that must be followed in order and precisely. Additionally, there are several measurements required, literally, during the steps. Performed for its own sake. Otherwise, is the act performed for its own benefit? Make an espresso shot is performed for its own sake because it produces a product people enjoy consuming. Ending and beginning that are definite. The act should not be an enduring activity. Making an espresso shot has a very clear beginning and a very clear end. From the beans to the brew. As you can see, following scope, the act make espresso shot easily hits all the requirements to be a task. Therefore, it is a very well-defined task. Let's revisit the scope tool, except this time we will use a different job, supervisor. The act will be manage barista team. Clearly, managing a team is not a single unit of work. It is a very complex web of knowledges, skills, and abilities, otherwise known as competencies. Competencies will be covered in a different video. Clearly defined. If you place the term manage in a web search engine, you would get an abundance of results. Results that are not only wide-ranging but ambiguous. It would be difficult to agree upon a definition. Observable and measurable. Manage is a very abstract concept and difficult to quantify. Even when or if you can, the observations are subject to debate. Can it be quantified? Will it hold up to a standard? Management alone is a massive field of study well beyond the scope of this video. Performed for its own sake. Is the act manage a team performed for its own sake? Obviously, not. Once you manage a barista team, what are you wanting them to do? Probably a wide range of tasks, duties, responsibilities, etc. Management by itself is not the end, but a means to an end. Ending and beginning that are definite. The act of manage is an enduring activity. There's no clear beginning and no clear ending. As you can see, running the Scope tool on Manage a Barista team doesn't hit the marks. Actually, it's quite awkward and quickly falls apart. Therefore, if an act is not a task, what is it? The answer leads us to a different video. Topics.